So you say you need a tutorial. This is my quick and easy tutorial for you. First, ingredients. So I like either a nice sharp pointed eyeshadow brush, which also is really good for eyeliner, or sometimes if it's a pinch I'll use one of these guys. It's not as precise, so it's not great, although it is good for fill. My personal favorite, however, is one of these babies. A nice super thin eyeshadow brush, usually used for accent work and eyeshadows. Also really good for your eyebrows. And then finally, a nice makeup tray with a whole bunch of different eyebrow colors, because I change my hair color a lot, although these days I am not trying to fool anybody into thinking that my hair naturally grows out purple and blue. So, things that you need to take into consideration when you're doing your eyebrow. One, your eyebrows are not the same shape. Don't try to force them to be into the same shape. It's a lot easier if you just work with what you've got and try to make them look organic and natural with each other. Other thing you want to take into consideration is how much space do you want between your eyebrows. For me, I find I always overpluck because I get freaked out, so I usually have to fill in a little bit right here, a little bit less right here this time. I also check down here to see if I've got any weird bald spots like that blop right there. This side's got a weird little bit right there, and then honestly I could probably afford to pluck to straighten up that line a little bit, but whatever. And then finally, how's it going through over here? For me, it's always hard because that scar takes out all this hair up here. Part of why I know that line is never going to be identical, because over here it grows in really nice. So as you can see over here, the hair grows in sort of like as a triangle. I can choose to fill in that whole triangle if I want to, which I do if for some reason some hair has been able to fill in over there. Or I can choose to kind of like work the hair up into a line, and also with the makeup make it look a little bit more like a thinner line like that one's gonna be. It's okay. For my money, I like for it to be at its thickest right here at the beginning, and then very, very slowly taper down towards a thinner line that just peaks out at the end. I'm not a big fan for those things where it's like a line up and then a line down. I only do that for like stagecraft. If I'm trying to portray a very specific type of person who would have eyebrows like that, like if I'm playing a Kardashian, or if I'm doing like a really specific era. Like when I do something from the 1920s, I try to get that really super thin, like, oh, I'm so surprised eyebrow. But yeah, it's honestly more or less the same width. It decreases very, very slightly, and then it just kind of ends naturally. So I pick the color that I want to use, and today I'll use this one. And I just load up the brush a little bit. I'm blowing off any excess because I don't want usually I've got more makeup on my face, and also this is easier if you're already wearing some concealer or something like that. It gives it something to adhere to other than just like the oils of your face. I don't want it dripping down onto the rest of the clean foundation and powder and everything. So I just go in and I start just dab, 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 dab. Just kind of like, I don't start where I want the final line to be. I start sort of in the center and give myself permission to build out, because it's never a bad thing to have the center like a nice dark shade. It should be. That's where the most hair should be, in the center. And I just kind of build out to create the shape I want. I'm making sort of a more rounded one this time. And then I'll fill in that bottom. And it's just like a bunch of really delicate little dabs. I'm going to refill my brush, even though I was only using one side, because that's how I am. And I'm working on the undercarriage right now. And again, I'm not going straight to where I want to be. I start a little bit above, so that I can like kind of get control for how intense the powder is at that moment. And I'm just like really gently filling it in, and then I go up. I see like this little spot up here, I want to make that top line look natural too. A little bit more for the ending. And then I just keep following the hair down, and I'm almost basically brushing the hair into position with the brush. Sometimes it might look a little bit unnatural at the end, so you can always just kind of like finger adjust it. You can always come with your fingers, and that's why I like using the eyeshadow, because it's so easy to wipe off if you do mess up. Another thing, if you already have your makeup on and it's not wiping off but more like smearing around, it's okay, because you can always come in with a nice light eyeshadow and then just put that right along the bottom. It'll first of all mask anything that got too crazy or wild, and it'll second of all lighten up your brow bone. And you can also do it to the top. Pro tip that I learned from when I was doing those stupid beauty pageants. And that like just makes your whole eyebrow pop and look brighter. It makes your eyes look brighter and wider as well. So what about the other eyebrow, you say? I did one. How do I do the other? Same way. I'm just starting in the center and building out, and like I said, this one needed a little bit more help building out, so I'm real gently and real slowly taking it just a little dab at a time. And again, also, I know this line isn't going to match. It's not going to be a perfect match to the shape that the other one was, because eyebrows aren't perfect like that, and trying to get them to be perfect is when we go crazy and we make giant crazy moth eyebrows. And then I just kind of keep following this line out. This one I'm being a little bit more cautious with. I'm not doing as much outwork because, like I said, that hair was already thicker. That line was already thicker, and I don't want this one to be that much more brazen than the other one. Just a little bit of coloring work to make sure there's no like crazy colors. And then I check to see if they're ending about the same place. So this one is a nice, you know, like 45-degree angle. This one is a little bit short, and that's okay, because as you can see, I've even got a little bit of hair there that I didn't follow all the way. So there it is. Ah, too thick at the end. So there, now it's nice and tapered. And it's the same thing. I can always just go in with that nice eye brightening white or silver or whatever color you feel like doing that day eyeshadow, and kind of clean up that bottom line, sort of manicure it into what I want it to be. And that is how I do my eyebrows without them getting all Kardashian or caterpillary.